A time of financial uncertainty can be really stressful, so here's what you can do with your money during that season. Hey guys, I'm Marissa with Dollar Sprout. We make videos to help you earn, manage, and save money. So if you want to learn more about all things money, definitely scroll down and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss a new video. So I'm filming this video in March of 2020, and it may be an understatement to say that we're currently in the middle of uncertain times. Because of a global health pandemic, millions of Americans have filed for unemployment recently, and others are scared that they could be next. It's overwhelming and stressful to say the least. So if you're facing a time of financial uncertainty, be it in the middle of a pandemic or otherwise, here are 6 things you can do with your money. Number 1, start a budget. Budgeting is important during normal financial times, but it may be even more important during times of uncertainty. So if you don't have a budget every month, now is the time to start. A lot of people may think that budgeting is restrictive. As a kid, maybe you were told, we can't get that, we're on a budget. From then on, it's easy to associate budgeting with being bad or even thinking that having a budget means that you're poor, but that's definitely not the case. Rather, a budget gives you the permission to spend. A budget is a framework for your income and expenses, and it allows you to tell your money where to go. To get started with budgeting, pick a platform that works best for you, whether that's pencil and paper, Excel, or an app. Then write down all of the income that you expect to bring in this month. Next, list out all of your expenses. This will include fixed monthly expenses like rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, and minimum debt payments, as well as variable expenses like groceries, eating out, gas, and entertainment, to name a few. If you don't know how much you should write down in each of these categories, take a look at your recent months of bank statements to see what you've spent. From there, you can decide if that amount is too little, too much, or just right, and add it to your budget plan. You'll also want to include savings line items in your budget, whether you have long-term or short-term savings goals that you're working toward. I use a zero-based budget every month, which means that all of my income equals all of the money that I have allocated to go out, whether that's to expenses or savings. Be sure that your income equals all of the money allocated in your budget. If it doesn't, you'll need to adjust your budget accordingly. Another important part of the budgeting process is tracking your spending throughout the month. That way you can see what you've actually done in comparison to your plan to make sure that you're on track. Every Sunday night, I sit down and record all of my transactions for the week into my budget, and that way I can make any necessary adjustments if needed. Now, you probably won't be a budget master from the start. In fact, it takes about 3 months to get in the habit of budgeting. So if the first couple months don't go as planned, that's totally okay. Take what you've learned and apply it to the next month and keep going. You've got this. If you want to learn more about budgeting, you can check out this video here. All in all, budgeting is a plan for your money. And especially during a time of uncertainty, it's important to have a plan for your money and know your overall picture of your financial health. Number 2, increase your emergency fund. If you don't know what the next couple of months will look like for your finances, it's important to have an emergency fund. An emergency fund acts like a safety net. It's there to catch you if something bad happens, like losing a job or encountering a large unexpected expense. A great goal for your emergency fund is to keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. If you don't feel like your current emergency fund is enough to get through a time of uncertainty, it's time to start saving. And don't worry, we'll talk about all the ways that you can save more in just a little bit. You can calculate your emergency fund savings goal by adding up all necessary expenses that you incur each month. That's everything from a rent or mortgage payment, utilities, insurance, basic groceries, and gas. What are the things that you would need as a bare bones budget to get you through each month? Once you add up everything for 1 month, multiply that number by the number of months you want to have saved in an emergency fund. There are a few different factors that go into deciding how many months of expenses you should have saved up. It may vary depending on how many streams of income you have, how big your family is, if you have a variable income, and if you're a renter or a homeowner. Pick a number that you feel comfortable with keeping in your emergency fund in case you would need it. My husband and I are expecting a baby here in just a couple of months, and we are also also recent first-time home buyers. We just finished our emergency fund savings goal in March, and it's honestly been perfect timing with everything that's been going on. We've saved $25,000 total in our emergency fund, which is a little bit more than 6 months of necessary expenses for us. I can say that I'm so grateful that we have this emergency fund during a time of uncertainty, because while we're preparing for baby in the midst of a crazy time in the world, I don't need to be worried about the what ifs when it comes to our finances. All thanks to the emergency fund. Number 3, pause extra debt payments. If your emergency fund isn't to the level that you need it to be in a time of uncertainty, it's time to do everything you can to save as fast as possible. One way to put extra to the emergency fund is by pausing extra debt payments. If you are currently working on paying off debt, you're probably paying more than just the minimums to really make some progress. And during this time, your emergency fund may not be fully funded. If these uncertain times are making you weary and you need to build up an emergency fund even more, now is a great time to pause extra debt payments and instead put more to savings. It's still important to cover your minimum payments, but anything extra that you were putting to debt can now go to savings. And if everything blows over and you no longer need that extra money in savings, you can easily turn around and make an extra large payment to your debt. Sure, you would have paid a little bit more in interest from not paying it off sooner, but you get that peace of mind that you have more money sitting in savings just in case. Number 4, cut unnecessary spending. Another way to get extra money to your emergency fund is by cutting unnecessary spending. To do this, take a look at your budget and see what kinds of things you've been spending money on that you don't really need. This can be things like entertainment, eating out, vacations, clothing, subscriptions, and other gifts. In a time of uncertainty, it can be beneficial to cut those things out of your budget just for the time being. That way you can take the extra money that would have been going to these expenses and instead apply it to your emergency fund goal. Number 5, spend on your basics. By cutting extra unnecessary spending in your budget, you can focus on your 4 most basic necessities, the things that you truly need to cover every month. In a time of true financial emergency, you can cut out all extra spending and focus on these 4 things: food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. Those are the things that you truly need each month, and you can make sure that you have all of those covered. And if you're in a time of financial uncertainty but feel like you're headed to a financial emergency, it may be beneficial for you to start by focusing on these 4 necessities, cutting out the rest, and putting every extra penny to the emergency fund. Number 6, take on extra work. If you've encountered a larger unexpected expense, lost your job, or feel that a layoff may be on the horizon, you could also take on some extra work. Now may be the perfect time to find a side hustle or a part-time job to help supplement income. As I'm filming this video, again, our world is in the middle of a global health pandemic, and it's definitely had an impact on the economy. Millions of people have filed for unemployment and are looking for extra work during this time, and honestly, it can feel pretty scary. And I'm truly sorry to anyone who may be impacted during this unprecedented time. The good news is that there are other companies out there during this time who are looking for more employees in response to the pandemic. Whether you're in an uncertain financial time during a pandemic or not, taking on extra work where you can find it and also where it's safe could be great to help get you through. If you want to learn more about side hustles, you can check out this video here. During uncertain times, it's easy to feel panicked. But instead of feeling anxious about what might happen to your finances, you can take some of these steps to help provide a financial foundation during an uncertain financial season. So if you want to learn more about money, definitely subscribe to the Dollar Sprout YouTube channel for more money videos, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And you can also check out this money video here, and I'll see you over there.